the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast for our preview and prediction of Crown Jewel. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil KOE. The Tom Brady of wrestling podcasting himself, joined by my indomitable broadcast partner,
Tony G, your champion. Thank you so much for joining us. Like, share, subscribe, folks.
We're changing up the formats here just a little bit. We're zooming right along into the 21st century here in the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. So here we are doing our first split screen. Tony's been pulling quite the podcasting duty this evening. So we are going to move right along to Crown Jewel. Now, we all know the ups and downs. It's in Saudi Arabia. There's the controversy surrounding it. We already all know it. Do we really need to get into it here? Let's get into what you're really here for, and that's the wrestling. So let's start off with Mansoor versus Cesaro. Now, Tony, I know this one's really going to pain you to say. Who you got in this one, Tony?
This is Mansoor all day.
What? Yeah. He's the local hometown hero, and Cesaro's going to be doing the JOB, looking at the lights for this one.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good match. Has a chance of probably being one of the match of the nights.
Yeah, he's used to eating the pin, and he will do it again here.
Ouch! Which is so too bad because he's such a good worker. Tag team turmoil. Do we even want to go into all the? Let's see. We got the New Day, the War Viking Raider Machine Experience Raiders, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, the Revival, the OC, Dolph Ziggler, and don't call him Bobby Robert Roode, and the B Team, who thought they were still a thing.
Yeah, this is simple for me. I'd love to pick the Revival. It should be the Revival. It's going to be the Viking Raiders. Easy.
Oh, dang it. I was going to take Raiders because I want it to be the New Day. Should be the New Day. But it'll be the War Viking Raider Experience because they have the least amount of fallout from winning the trophy. Because nobody else wants to actually have the Saudi Arabia trophy. They don't want to deal with it. So
no.
That's why they put it on Shane McMahon. And that is a potential. Robert Roode is injured, and Shane McMahon steps in for Bobby Robert Roode, and he becomes Dolph's tag partner. So he is the best in the world and the best tag team wrestler in the world, Shane McMahon. I could actually see that happening.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, let me dream. But yeah, it's going to be the War Viking Raider Experience Machine. It just has to be. So we move on to the 20-man Battle Royal. Who you got in this one, champ?
This one will go on to face AJ Styles for the United States title. There's a lot of choices you could pick here. I'm just going to say Andrade.
You think Andrade? I was going to take Andrade at first, but I thought about it a little more. I think it's going to be Humberto Carrillo. He's a new prospect, a new face. They're trying to give him a little bit of a push. I think he's going to go on to have a 4-star almost match with AJ Styles. And that's also kind of my next prediction. AJ walks away with the U.S. title. I mean, do you see any circumstance in which AJ does not walk away with the U.S. championship?
No, AJ's going to retain. I have zero doubt that AJ Styles walks in and walks out United States champion. It's just a foregone conclusion.
Same here. I mean, it would swerve us all, but there's really no need for it.
Not happening at Crown Jewel.
The big one, as far as some people are concerned, the one that this event will be talked about 20 years from now, first ever in Saudi Arabia history, women's match. Lacey Evans versus Natalya. Like I said, 20 years from now, we won't be talking about the tag team turmoil match. 20 years from now, this match will be brought up. So really, they just need to perform a serviceable match. It needs to exhibit what women's athletics are possible. And this will be quite the sight for the very conservative Saudi Arabian crowd.
Yeah. No, this is going to be a good one. They have good chemistry. They have a history, and it makes sense. You know, it's going to be a good working match. I like the pairing, and I've got Lacey Evans here.
You know, it really could go either way on that one. But they are wanting to push Lacey Evans more, and Natalya's on her way out. The idea is, do they give the veteran the nod for this one, or do they continue the push? And
they're going to continue the push.
Yeah, WWE doesn't seem all that tied to nostalgia like its fan base is.
No.
Almost like they could learn something there. So, unfortunately, I would like to see Natalya, but it's going to be Lacey. So, moving right along, we got Team Flair, styling, profiling, limousine riding, absolutely no commercial flying, Rolex wearing, alligator booted, Nature Boy, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. I could keep going.
That's good. Versus Team Hogan. There you go.
Team Hogan, brother. So, who you got for this? We got Team Hogan, Roman Reigns, Ricochet. Rusev Day has not been a very happy day lately. Ali, and we're going with this now. Shorty G.
Shorty G, y'all.
Versus Team Flair. Woo! Randy Orton. King Corbin. I mean, he went right from Constable right up to King. This guy's just working his way up. Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. Now, Tony, you don't think Rusev, Bobby Lashley are going to get into it on this? You don't think that's going to spill out somehow, do you?
If they don't, its whole storyline's going to be for naught. I don't know.
It's going to be for naught. You can take that to the bank. At the end of all this, it will be for naught. They just made Rusev look like a giant dick on national television for no good reason.
Yeah, they are good at that. I don't know. This will be an okay
just
match.
Ask the Feed or Braun Strowman.
This will be a decent match, but I think it just comes down. Team Hogan wins. Simple.
Yep, gives everybody the Hogan can, do his "where's my cheers at?" He can do that, and hey, there's a certain segment of the audience that they will always love Hogan. Doesn't matter what he did, doesn't matter what he does. They'll always love Hogan. So, yep, you're right. These Saudi shows seem to be a very safe place to bring him in. Now, here's a big one. This one can go either way, but I'm going to go. Since I made you go first, I'm going to take the first one on this one. Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury. This one's interesting because you got big, beefy Braun Strowman, who they've been trying to, last year we're trying to push.
Yeah.
And you got Tyson Fury. Now, unfortunately, I think this is going to be a Lawrence Taylor situation. I think Tyson Fury is going to take the W here because he's being sold as the undefeated world champion. You really can't defeat your undefeated in his first match. And it sends the idea of he's so good at boxing, but just the world of pro wrestling. Whoa. So, egos are a thing, and it's going to be the instance here. So, that and Tyson Fury is a real draw. I mean, him getting a W in the WWE universe isn't a big deal. it's going to be some sort of schmozzy finish, and in the end, it's going to be Tyson.
Yeah, they kind of maybe sort of a little bit protect Braun on the Saudi shows. I mean, he did win the Greatest Royal Rumble, but it won't matter here. There's no way that they're going to give him his first loss ever in a professional wrestling match. So, no, this is easy. Tyson Fury.
All right, now, champ, I'm going to let you take the first on these two. The big championship matches. Brock Lesnar, WWE champion, versus challenger Cain Velasquez. This one is interesting. I'm going to ask you who you got.
Very simple. Cain Velasquez wins via DQ.
Unfortunately, I have Brock retaining. I don't think Brock's going to walk away without the championship. It would make sense to put the belt on Cain.
I don't think it does.
Well, the reason it doesn't is because the locker room would revolt.
There you go.
I mean, they wouldn't stand for that.
Nope.
He's marketable to a segment of the audience. It's unfortunate because you could build a 21st century Mil Mascaras out of Cain Velasquez. 21st century El Santo, 21st century Blue Demon. You could easily do it with Cain Velasquez. But the way that you build those Latin American superstars is you don't beat them. And what are they going to do in his first match? He's going to get beat. He's not going to lose. He's not going to walk away with the belt decisively. You could build a 21st century Latino superstar out of Cain Velasquez. I mean, Donald Trump would know who Cain Velasquez is by the time Vince was done with it, if done properly, but it won't. This is going to be kind of just a short little one-off. So yep. Cain's going to be a flash in the pan. He's not going to last long. He'll do great in AAA.
Yeah.
Where he has been. Unfortunately, Brock's politic is far too powerful. It's a vortex that not even the most powerful wrestling minds can get out of. So I see, Brock's going to retain. I actually think it's going to be not a DQ, but a schmozzy somehow screws him out of the, Cain's distracted Paul Heyman hit, throws the talcum powder to the eyes. My God,
Well, regardless, Brock's leaving with the belt, but I got Cain via DQ.
Okay, I got Brock via chicanery. So we'll, if it comes down to tiebreaker, we'll see who was closer on that one.
There you go.
Now, the big one. Seth Rollins versus The Fiend. Falls count anywhere. Now, I think it's fascinating, before I let you get to this, that the selling point on this match is, ladies and gentlemen, there will actually be a finish to this match. That's the selling point. There has to be an actual finish to this match. Now,
which kind of tells me there won't be. Yeah, that kind of tells me there might not be a finish to this match. But
really?
I don't know. I typically don't do well in these predictions for the Saudi Arabia shows. So I'm going to go out on a limb this time. Fiend.
Oh, I so hope I lose. I really want to lose, but Tony. Brian Zane of Wrestling with Regret. Check him out. He's a good podcast. He summed up everyone's frustration with the Hell in a Cell finish perfectly in two sentences. God forbid we actually honor a match stipulation. God forbid we pull the trigger on something interesting and new. That is really the biggest problem with the Hell in a Cell finish. To me, you had this lightning in a bottle and you didn't capture it, and I'm almost afraid if it wasn't for the fact that Bray Wyatt is such a tremendous performer, it would have been too little too late.
Yeah. Hopefully they can piece something back together here.
Well, his Firefly Funhouses were actually compelling. as much as I hate to say. It was still compelling, still held my attention. It was a unique promo format. But, Tony, like you always like to say, these are house shows in the desert, and it will be treated as such somehow, some way, through some manner or means. Seth is going to retain.
More than likely.
Kill that character off once and for all. Just get it done with. Burn it down, Seth. Show them you've gotten nobody over since you've won the Universal Championship. You've gotten Brock under. You've gotten The Fiend under. You even got your girlfriend Becky under. She was way more over before she started working mixed tag matches with you. So, yes, let's just throw a few more potential superstars to the pyre here. And now, I hate to say this because I am a huge Seth Rollins fan. As a heel champion Seth, it's kind of like face champion Flair. You like it for a minute, but
yeah.
he's got to be the, kid stealing, wheeling, dealing son of a gun. So, God, I hope I'm wrong. You have no idea how much I am hoping to not hold that title tomorrow, Tony, but it's coming to this shoulder, unfortunately.
I'm going to do everything I can to make that not happen.
So, folks, join us this Thursday during Halloween because the Saudis really care about the Gregorian calendar.
Clearly.
Yeah, now, Halloween's a kind of an American thing. So, but we will give you all the latest and greatest and the updates and the ups, the downs, the left, the rights, the backs, the forwards, the everywhere you can think of for Crown Jewel. Folks, I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, Phil KOE, your king of extreme, the Tom Brady of wrestling podcasting, the Superman of all podcasting in general himself. Signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partner, Tony G. Take it away.
Yep, Tony G, your partner, your champion for the moment, hopefully after tomorrow. It's going to be a tough uphill climb. But join us after Crown Jewel as we review Crown Jewel. See you then, folks.